Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 108 of the WA Running Podcast as we record on Monday, the 2nd of March, 2026. Hope you all had a enjoyable long weekend worth of running, whether it's training for secret marathons, finding out that Yochi's promotion was over, or perhaps stopping your watch hundreds of meters earlier than the finishing chute of a marathon major. In this week's episode, we cover the Perth Trail Summer Series Chitty Chitty Run, Runningworks Lark Hill Party Ultra, and the Peninsula Twilight Run. Across my screen is someone who I believe would never stop his watch way before the finishing chute of a marathon major. Chris the Metronome Shaw, how are you, mate?
I'm good, Simon. I haven't stopped it before this finishing shoot. I've run through the finish to get to a 5 kilometre Strava PB before, though, so you could call me just as guilty in some ways.
Obsessed with the Strava PB. Across the other side of my screen is someone who, since coming back to Perth, she's been doing a lot of Hurdy's recce runs. It's very impressive. So expecting some big things in 2 weeks' time. Vici Richardson, how are you, mate?
Hello, Simon. I'm good, thank you. I wouldn't be too impressed. I'll go into more later, but I'm hanging on for dear life.
Hanging on for dear life. We'll find out a little bit later. And Chris, how about you introduce our other guests for this evening?
Yeah, for sure. Our guest today is someone we have long spoken about having on the podcast since we took over in 2024. I think you and I had exchanged messages back then, Ashul, talking about how long the podcast might go for if we did have you on, and I think you referred to it as an ultra pod. A name and face familiar to many through your running exploits here in the WA and abroad. You've travelled the world in running races from some of the more exotic places, such as the Reykjavik Marathon in 2024, Kilimanjaro Marathon last year, and most recently Valencia last December. There have been ups and downs through injury from what I've seen along the way, but you've always brought a smile wherever you go. The recent winner of the 2025 WAMC Inspirational Runner Award, Ashul Shah. Welcome to the WA Running Podcast.
Thanks, Chris. Thank you for that very nice introduction. It makes me feel very big and very much a huge ego now. Yes.
No, it's certainly been a long time coming, and as I've already cooked that intro, we're about to find out if I cook something else here in the questions. But no, thank you so much for coming on, mate. So you've recently picked up this Inspirational Runner Award alongside Bryan Lip, actually, a couple of weeks back at the Marathon Club. How was the award night, and what does receiving that award mean to you?
Yeah, it really is a little surreal, to be honest. I think the last time I got any award was possibly in year 3 in Nairobi when I placed second in the egg and spoon race. So, that's sort of set the bar a bit higher. I guess I'm very proud of myself as a consequence. It's my second award in life. And I guess I've never had any athletic ability, and have as a result always sort of shied away from even calling myself a runner. For me, sort of getting the award was quite emotional. It did tear me up. Getting recognized not just for showing up, which is it's unexpected and quite satisfying, but the depth of inspiration in the club is quite embarrassing, really. And if your peers recognize you for doing something which you just think is just normal, you just show up kind of thing. Yeah, it was very good. And I think my LinkedIn and Instagram posts, I have not seen that many responses and people just saying how much I've inspired them, and which I think teared me up more because I think that's when this sort of comes to sort of like, wow, that's quite, you achieved something. So it felt very good.
For sure, yeah. It's probably you might not recognize the impact that you have on people around you until something like this comes up.
That's it, and I think that it's just not just from like everyone we see on a running track as well, but I think within my community as well, it's made a very big difference. So you don't normally see a lot of Indian blokes running, and I think that for them it's been quite a nice little thing to see someone who's old, probably should have diabetes and probably ready to die of a heart attack, is probably still doing that, trying to get a heart attack during the interval. Yes. So yeah, the night was also, it was very nice. It was nice to be there. In some ways, I'm glad Bryan wasn't there because he would have taken the show out completely.
It would have been a 10-hour spectacular.
It would have. There would be dancing. There would have been everything. Pom-poms, the full work. So this was actually quite a quiet night. And I think that was, it was good that he was running one of his 52 marathons somewhere in the world.
Yeah, no, of course. No, we love Bryan, and obviously love to have him back in Perth from time to time. But yeah, I'm sure it might have overshadowed you somewhat. Look, I loved reading your Instagram post in the week that followed. You said something like, "My spirit place is the Serengeti, and my spirit animal is the cheetah. Sadly, I'm anything but a cheetah running the plains. I feel like I'm more of a cockroach that refuses to give up." What does it mean to be a cockroach amongst the cheetahs?
I love that. I guess I still have a wonderful memory of my first Fremantle half marathon. I'll be showing my age here by saying that it was actually in South Beach in those days. So that's a very nice route. There I was with my big Ray-Ban aviators, stuck together with rock tape, because that's how things were done in those days. And I thought I looked like a pro runner, but in reality I was a patched up mutt against the show ponies and greyhounds. So I guess to me, in the lens of reflection, I felt that way. My mental state was I can't do anything. And I guess for me, it was just when you look at yourself, you think, oh yeah, I'm a runner. I can do it. I'm amazing. And that way, the more I thought about it when I was getting that award at the club, is I was thinking that cockroach is that fearless creature that cares little about what others think, to be honest. It probably will survive a nuclear attack and come back. So I guess that's been my secret power all these years, unbeknownst to me, that was so that deep sense of purpose of my running cause. And no matter what life threw at me, I've always felt I could do more and be better than what I was or what I am. And that's the thing about running that I think people don't recognize, is that you do get better. And if you can focus on the art of it, you do actually can improve constantly. But if you compare yourself to others, then you'll never improve. Because I mean, Simon amongst us is probably the only one likely to be like Kipchoge, but for the rest of us, normal people, the likelihood of that is very, very low. But within ourselves, we can always be better. And I think that's what I get with myself. Is there's very little pressure to perform. It's all about the pressure you put on yourself. And so I can put as much as I want or as little as I want, but it's all about me. And as a consequence of me not having been good at any kind of sport or being good in sport, I guess when I started running, everything I did was a PB. So there was no younger me to compare at all. And so to try and emulate, I think a lot of runners I find struggle to come back running later in life. They compare themselves to their younger selves. And I think they always get stuck in that rut of, I can't be like that. And they're always trying to fight against themselves. And that's where I think running fails for most people. It's that if you don't fight them, just appreciate it for what it is and what it can do for you. It opens the doors and it gets you, to be capable of a lot more. Sorry, I went on that one.
No, that's. Don't apologise. They're very, very wise words and worth sinking in. I guess it's a good point that if you are comparing it to your younger self, you might have trained in a particular way at a given time, but being older, like you're not going to be able to train the same way you trained when you were younger. So how can you possibly expect to run faster, And
in my I suppose even in I can compare myself 10 years ago, so when I was 47 to when I'm 57 now. it's chalk and cheese. And, what I could get away with then, I can't get away with now. So I can just imagine if I was comparing myself to when I was 20, it is very, very different to what it would be now.
For sure.
So, yeah.
No, I think Simon and I were lamenting our throwing away our 20s last week in a group chat, talking about how much time we wasted doing things other than running. But I guess being now older and slightly wiser, we probably have a little bit more perspective and able to prioritize things better in our lives that help us, carry on with the training that we're doing now.
And I think one of the things that we all forget, and that's why, I mean, even the marathon distance for a long time used to be 21 or 18 years now as the minimum age. And I think that it does require that level of maturity because you can't do it otherwise. And your body's just not ready for those kind of things. And I guess if you did that in your 20s, then you would be broken now and probably never running again.
Yeah, true.
I think we were saying the exact same thing. Yeah.
So yeah.
No, very good. Now, well, I just want to finish with that post. So you finished that post by saying it's never too late to start, which is kind of echoing on what you're saying now. But you can never keep a good cockroach down. So. Maybe, I mean, you've mentioned you didn't run or you weren't particularly very good at sport when you were younger. Maybe you could give us some context about how you came into running, and if you didn't grow up with it, what brought you to it, and how has it changed you as a person?
Okay, I mean, I'd definitely be lying if I said I didn't grow up with it. I grew up in Nairobi, and if I can tell you one thing, that we have got some runners there.
Yeah.
So yeah, going back to obviously after my phenomenal second placing in year 3 for the Edmonton, we've moved on to high school now. High school, my parents decided that I needed to go to this school, which was called Nairobi School, but in the old days it used to be called the Prince of Wales, and it's probably where Out of Africa the movie was done, and it's one of those schools where you're known by your surname. You report to the house at lunchtime. You have a garter belt on your socks, and it has to be a certain length. And it was one of those things. So a rugby school as well. Me being a skinny little Indian boy, pretty much 99% African. It was quite an interesting place where I'd get a handoff on the rugby field. I'd fall down like a sack of skeleton. Just
Yeah.
so it was one of those things where I tried to find myself, and they obviously put me as a token player, number 11 in the cricket squad, because Indians did that, and that was so I was in there. But one of the things that we were forced to do was cross country. And we were one of the schools where there was a track, and generally when there's a track in your school, it's a steeplechase track. So and 3,000 meters was compulsory. So every year you had to run that, and you had to practice for that. And I remember almost drowning a couple of times in the water jump, and then I realized that it's better to just sort of pretend to jump up and then jump on the side of it. Too short, too tiny for that.
Yeah.
So did the cross country, and I think what stayed with me during those days was the freedom. You got away from class, you're on the grass, you're just running, and no one could bully you, no one could chase you, no one could do anything. You were there on your own, in your mind, and you were just, and that joy was something that's, I think, always stayed with me. So that's, that was one of the things that I took going further in life and going to the uni in the UK. I did start doing a bit of athletics there, and then I got struck with an early onset of rheumatoid arthritis. So now you have a couple of stints in the geriatric ward up at the Coventry and Warwick Hospital in the West Midlands. Sort of got me a very different perspective to life, where there were all these people ready to die and wailing. There I was with nurses coming with a little stick and prodding with all my, I wouldn't say which parts, but just to make sure everything was working. And I was like, oh my God, this is a crazy place. But yeah, so that sort of unfortunately put paid to my running and sort of any athletic ability. Fast forward, hit the age of about 37. I was in Australia then, and I started getting the rheumatoid arthritis come back again. And my GP decided, well, after the sixth time he'd pumped some cortisone into my knees, that he's not going to do it anymore. I had to see a rheumatoid specialist, and I had to basically take the person's advice and do what they say. So I went off to the specialist, and he basically said, well, you've got to take this drug. It's going to drop your immunity. It's going to give you a bit of nausea. And unfortunately, that's life, but you have to pop a pill every day. And that's what basically you need to do. So I don't know what came over me. I sort of said to him, look, can I come back and see you in 3 months? And he just laughed. Said, yeah, whatever. So I went outside, pulled out a cigarette and said, F this, I'm taking off running.
Yeah, right.
That's what one does. So that was it. I took off running. I had no idea what I was going to do, how I was going to start. So I just started it. And at that stage, the City to Surf was the biggest thing that you did in Perth. So they had the 12K. So I did this whole secret marathon thing, which is not for into a marathon, but sign up for a walk, but then did the walk run. So I ran a bit, and that was nice. It was good fun, and everyone, that was very fast time for walking. And I said, yes. and slowly sort of got into it. But the more I did, the more injured I got. I lost sort of like my shins once time. You know how it is when you're a runner. And so I took up swimming a couple of times in there. And swimming taught me a lot in the sense that about endurance and keep on going, about that mental state of that boredom and moving up and down and no one to speak to or do anything. But it also taught me one thing that very early on in those days was to take a gel now and then. And it made you glide through the water. And it sort of that gives that sugar, they gave you, what you needed to get across pretty quickly. And so once I, but every time I came out of the pool and go back to running, I was happier running than I was. But it took a while. It took quite a while to become a runner. And then the first HBF came about, and that was pretty much my thing. So I ran that whole thing, and I was like, wow, that was the most incredible thing. And since then, I'm probably the only person who's done the longest distance at an HBF for all the first 11, one of them. The only one I didn't do was last year because I've had enough now. That's it. I'm retired from my HBF days.
Don't say that to Vicky.
Never say that again, Ashleigh.
Yeah. Don't say that in front of Vicky. You found out Vicky was taking over and then you went, nah, done.
Well, this is it. So now you take the baton and
I'm going to make it my mission for the next 2 months to convince you to do this year's event.
Oh my god! You have to talk to the boss. We'll talk about that later, I think. Yes. So I guess for me, that's what got me into running, and it's my drug. It's my way of fixing my. And I'll probably, if we have time, I'll probably go in later. Where I then found I've got a whole host of autoimmune issues, which the rheumatoid arthritis was just one, which I obviously got, but that I knew of. But then there's all sorts of things from general anxiety disorder to tinnitus, hearing loss, to basically IBS, anything you can think of. Basically have Raynaud's disease, everything. So the running sort of seemed to calm those things down. And it also helped. I did stop smoking, by the way. There was a couple of times where I did. I mean, it was funny where 3 Waters, you're actually in the race and you're struggling and you're dying and you think, remember, when you finish, there'll be a cigarette for you at the end. So that's good. But I think that was it. Those days, very early on, and then I basically stopped. So, and probably the best thing I did. But then alcohol was one thing which I think a lot of runners probably oversubscribed. Not you guys. I think you guys are now a bit in a different level. But in my age, it was one of those things where you had got just the running habit and the drinking habit. A little did I know that my alcohol habit was actually what was helping my running. And I had a symbiotic relationship with the grog. And what that meant was it facilitates, so it's a facilitating agent. So it opened up the blood cells so that I could get blood flow everywhere. So all my soft tissues were all really happy. They were getting lots of blood. And as far as the sugar from alcohol went, the next day in the morning, I was flying because I was just full of the sugar from the whole bottle of wine drunk the previous day. Yeah. But anyway, 5 years now, completely alcohol free as well. And
Oh, wow.
that's been probably the biggest challenge I had with my running because I didn't know what was going on with my body. It was only then everything came to fruition and everything came to light as to all the things that were wrong with me. And it's probably taken me till pretty much 2 weeks ago to finally figure everything out. So this is quite exciting that we've got this chat today.
Almost, yeah. Very fortuitous timing, yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, congratulations on the 5 years sobriety, by the way. That's a massive achievement.
Me too.
Obviously detaching that symbiotic relationship between the alcohol and the running, that obviously must have been a fairly big change for you. Would you mind talking about that a little bit, like what that process was, deciding to go sober and yeah.
So I woke up. So we were basically at the Jetty Bar and for lunch, and as you do, you go into Frio and you continue on. And Monday morning, woke up and I said to myself, "Never drinking again," and I haven't.
And that was it.
But classic runner thing. It's addictive personality where you can just switch on, switch off.
Yeah. Addicted to quitting something. Yeah.
I found out later on it's actually could have been fatal.
Really?
Right. I would not advise someone to do it without getting advice and actually sort of working things through with someone who knows what they're doing. Because the body does get into a bit of a shock. It doesn't know what to do. And I guess, for me, obviously the lucky part of that was that the running was always there. And we all know the therapeutic ways that how running does work and does help and does soothe things over. But yeah, it was just one of those things where it wasn't that hard, Chris. It was just pretty much that's it. It's gone. And like in two months, I saw my past self and I looked at it and I thought, "Oh, is that who I am? Who I was?" I didn't like that person. Even though I was the life of the party, everyone loved me. It was just, well, I thought everyone loved me, but
you were just drunk.
But it was a funny one where honestly I just got along with everyone and I just had this facade that this just changed me in the sense that I became a lot more grounded, a bit more understanding of what's going on around me, and that just opens up your mind because I think it's growing up. I think at the age of 52, I finally grew up. They say boys take a while before they mature. There you go. I finally got there at 52 kind of thing. So yeah.
No, the frontal lobe takes a while to fully develop. No, that's good, mate. Good to hear. I think my first interaction with you would have been along the Applecross foreshore somewhere. I often do my intervals down there, and I used to see you there frequently with your endurance movement crew. I can't remember if it was Tuesdays or Thursdays, but every time I'd go going up and down, you'd be waving, smiling, say, you're doing a good job, congratulating me, things like that. So I thought, I wonder who this guy is. And I think we ended up coming across each other on Strava, and then I bumped into you at a marathon club event, and then met you for the first time. And, now it's great, following along your story and we're kind of exchanging from time to time messages, which has been great. But what I've noticed this whole time is you're always so positive. I mean, you mentioned you're quite an addictive personality, but like, what makes you so? What do you use to keep yourself so positive?
That's that's an interesting question. So a lot of my friends call me cheeky little Kenyan, so CLK for short. But that's just because I am very cheeky and I have got a very much of a Simon side to me. Um, but I think one of the things that I really love when I'm out there is this when I see someone else, and I just like to talk to them. And the funniest thing is, everyone I run with, normally I train them that you have to say hello, you have to smile, you can't just cross people, so you have to say hello. And then what we do is sometimes, like with Francesco, Vicky, you might know him from. Uh, I run with Pisatine, the Italian bloke there. Anyway, I run with him occasionally, and we actually have this whole game that we have about who is grumpy and who is nice, and all that. But it just takes the miles away. But it's also
Yep.
something that you can actually do. And so for me, I think it's my social run. I am very much a solo runner. As you know, Chris, you've seen me even in the group. I was just doing my own thing. They were doing their own thing, and so as it's between Strava and I think people on the track, that's my community, and that's who I sort of get to know. It's funny how in Waterford, where I run. And next time, by the way, Simon, you're running past with Lisa, just let me know. I can set up a water station for you.
Oh, thank you very much.
But everyone knows me. Everyone, and so wherever I go, whichever race I've done, it's like everyone will stop. They'll ask about that race. They'll ask about what's going on, and so that's one of the things that I find about running that people don't. If you're not so serious about your running. And I do remember you, Chris, because just, all of a sudden there is a lot more to that you're interacting with a lot more people. You're talking to, and that's what I think people miss when they just go too fast, or when they're not doing that constant. I think that's my secret about being on the running track. And when we're racing, I think it's a question of, am I going to get photographed? If I am, I don't want to look grumpy.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Yeah.
So you got to do that. So I think that's the thing. And I probably will now at this stage need to share you a story of another nickname I have. That at one time we were running across the Narrows, and I was in a group, so we called the Pig Runners. And we started Hurlingham Road. Get it, Hurlingham.
Pigs, ham.
Yeah. So, and we were just going down the Narrows under the bridge, and up was coming the BYL group with a guy called Matt Smith, who was again someone I ran the Wedgem Marathon with, and was one of my favorite races. And he saw me from the distance, and he said, "Ashul," and the ladies who were running with him all shouted, "Bless you." That's what everyone calls me, Achu. So yeah, that was the funniest thing I've ever seen. But yeah, so I guess the only other time where I have probably regretted my happiness on the run was the first time I ever came very close, and I finished 4 hours and 1 minute, Perth Marathon. I probably wasted more time, like 3 minutes, hugging people en route, which was, in hindsight, was not the smart move if I wanted to break 4 hours. But yeah.
You had a good time along the way, though. That's all that
Well,
counts.
that's it.
Yeah. after my run at Rottnest last year, you were kind of following along my build to Gold Coast, I guess, and you sent me a quote from the Gift, A Runner's Story by Paul Mora. If you don't mind, I'll share it with the listeners. It says, "Running isn't a sport for the pretty boys. It's about the sweat in your hair and the blisters on your feet. It's the frozen spit on your chin and the nausea in your gut. It's about throbbing calves and cramps at midnight that are strong enough to wake the dead. It's about getting out the door and running with the rest of when the rest of the world is only dreaming about having the passion that you need to live each and every day with. It's about being on a lonely road, running like a champion, even when there is not a single soul in sight to cheer you on. Running is all about having the desire to train and persevere until every fibre in your legs, mind, and heart are turned to steel. And when you're finally forged hard enough, you will have become the best runner you can be, and that's all that you can ask for." An incredible quote, which I took to heart when you sent it to me. Tell us what this particular book or this quote in particular means to you, and how does it sit within the context of your own running journey?
Yeah, thanks. So, in fact, not my running journey, but what amazed me was me following your training, and just the persistence with which you were getting things done, and the consistency with it. It sort of showed to me that this is how it's done. So this is how that quote gets translated into someone. I've seen the transformation of you actually seeing you on those Applecross mornings to a sub 3 marathoner, and seen that happen. And this is just all happening in front of my eyes. Well, through Strava in the end, but and so for me, it is the holy grail of running. It's I think every day by showing up, I will one day build up myself up to be the runner that I want to be. I think that is the mantra, or that is the main takeaway, is by if you do something, you will be what you want to be. But if you don't do anything, it's not going to happen. So whatever it is, you just keep at it. And that's pretty much what everything they said, I sort of embody it in terms of, I guess the way to say it is it's the most social solo runner that who can be out there. So I do have my cramps at night, I do have my cries, but I know that if you read my Strava, it's like a bloody novel sometimes.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
book.
We know a couple of people that like to write novels.
You're
You're not the only one.
Yeah, there is that Jonathan, I think Gorge Trails or whatever, Top Trails Perth. He sort of writes about his resting heart rate and everything else. That's even a longer story. He's probably listening to this.
Hello, if you're listening. Yeah.
I sort of initially started writing all that stuff just so that I could remember. But one weird thing is that I now go back and I read some things, and it's funny how the cycles I've been through have been the same consistent bang and bust cycles, and nothing's gotten better. And I've always consistently failed, come back, come back, failed even worse, and come back. And it's crazy when you read. So when you write a lot, you do obviously. It's like a diary, so you diarize that, and I suppose Vicky, I'll probably need to add you into the Strava so that you can read my novels.
I'm just looking for you now.
Yeah, so yeah, for me, I guess that's what that quote embodies for me. It is who I am. It's what I do. And it's what I aspire to be.
Amazing.
Chris, do you reckon the quote played a huge factor in you running sub 3 at Gold Coast and beyond?
Yeah, I think it kind of, in some ways, it kind of said everything about marathoning or about training for a marathon that I had kind of thought, but it was coming from a different perspective. So having that to kind of solidify my own kind of philosophy, I guess, of just being able to head down and putting in the work and not worrying about the fine detail until, a point in which you've actually reached your goal or you've become a better runner for what you've already achieved or put together in the past. So I think a lot of people can take something from that quote and take it into their own running, whether they're looking to run a sub 4 hour marathon or looking to run Margaret River Ultra, or whatever it might be. There might be I think there's validity there for a lot of people.
Beautiful. Ashul, you talked earlier about some of the health challenges you experienced when you were younger, but I hear that there's been some health challenges in recent years as well. That included your GP telling you a few years back that you should consider walking instead of running. How have those things impacted your running in recent years, and have you replaced your GP?
Yes, I have. So a couple of interesting things there. I don't know if you guys get your bloods done regularly. But everyone should. So there's a couple of things I think for as athletes, all of us should do. Is a calcium score is a good idea, which is to see if there's any build-up. And the problem of people with Indian descent have is we have narrower arteries than you guys have. So if there is even slight build-up, the chances of a build-up is actually heart attack is actually a lot higher. And obviously there's diabetes is a big thing. So getting bloods done regularly is probably a pretty good thing. And one of the things that I did not realize until I started doing the training with endurance movement and doing the weights, the strength training, is that some of your markers in your liver actually point towards potential fatty liver disease if you've gone straight from strength training. You apparently need to take like a week's break or a 2-week break before you get your bloods done, because it could show up that. So there have been issues where things have shown up and they don't understand. When you have to look at it from the context of the GP, is you're like an Indian looking bloke who's old, who's going in there. Chances are they've pigeonholed you with this is your ailments and this is how you're going to die and this is your future. So for them, when you tell them that you're a runner and that you're able to do, I think they can't even comprehend what a marathon, they can't comprehend what a 5K is. So forget even trying to explain to them what 42 kilometers actually is. So I think that's the hard bit with GPs, is that it's a bit of Russian roulette. Unless you get a proper sports doctor, there's no one who's going to actually quite understand, unless the younger ones who actually run, then it's very different. So one of the things that you would struggle to find is an elder doctor that's actually going to understand what the complexity of sports are. So this GP is also notorious for having told me after I got my sort of performance sort of hamstring issue training for Two Oceans was that people our age should not be running, and you should really start doing something more like maybe swimming or cycling. Usual story. Everyone knows that everyone has got it. So I guess, Simon, the main challenges that I've gone through is a medical system that quite does not understand two things that they're failing is one you're a brown person that who's got certain health issues that they will put you in that place, and the other side is that I think health system moves too slowly to understand how good running is and how important running is for all of us. And it'll be quite a bit of a challenge for, I think, the health system to actually catch up. But one thing that I do find is that we obviously have this whole AI and all these other things that to get our reports into and try and work things out. And I don't know whether that's a blessing or that's actually a curse, because obviously you end up getting these ailments which you think you know what they are and what the solution is, but they're not quite that. And so I guess where I have been with those health challenges is I've never found the answers that I seeked. And I guess the answers that I seek were actually please carry on running. Which goes back to another episode that I think I did share with you, Chris, and that was about Berlin, and that was so this was a classic case where the physio that I'd gone to see said, yeah, look, your tibia seems to be a bit, stressed out. Why don't you, instead of landing your foot this way, land it a bit this way and sort of run kind of like that? And, what could possibly go wrong? And I was like, yeah, that's fine. And so I then in those days, obviously bulletproof and thinking, yeah, look, I do 32K runs every weekend. I didn't think twice about there's some slight pain in the shin, whatever. Anyway, 16K into the marathon in Berlin, I basically was on the floor, could not move, could not put weight on. Transpired much later, Simon, that I had 2 stress fractures.
Jesus.
That was very expensive and Abbott major and come out with a DNF. It taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about being a bit less self-prescriptive and basically listen to what experts have to say and understand what is going on. I think that was the best thing to happen in hindsight. Obviously, a very expensive lesson, but sometimes those are the best ones because you learn from those. You actually do pick that. What that has done for me is taken me on this journey of Mafeton and rest in peace Galloway to everything in between, and try and get myself into becoming this Paul Morris better runner, to find that gift. And that's been a journey in itself because everything that I've tried has actually failed. and to the extent that, well, I think most people would generally just give up. But I I do have time on my side, and it's not like I'm not enjoying it. So I do get to do a marathon, and then I get injured, and whatever. You move on. You do the next one. And so for me, that whole getting injured cycle has led to this discovery of what is it that runners need to do. Why do we how can we make ourselves be a better runner? And that slow process of learning by probably going through it, making every single mistake that you can, has eventuated in getting the answers ultimately. So you get one answer, you do 3 or 4 things wrong. It's like one of those experimentation things where I'm not necessarily the Incredible Hulk, but it's on a similar scale where you're sort of doing these experiments, and what works you keep, what doesn't work you throw away. But yeah, so everything seems to come together and then sort of fall apart. And I finally, as I think I mentioned to you this morning on Instagram, has got to a stage where I've got the answers. So I think this is the most exciting time of my life, where I finally feel like I've now reached that nirvana. This is the afterlife.
Yeah.
And I've reached that, hit that nail on the head, and it's not my own coffin. Is that we're basically found my biggest issue. And Simon, if you remember, you coined the phrase VO2 spew. And that VO2 spew, tell me why you aren't visiting it recently.
It's probably because I'm actually eating a couple of hours before the actual run rather than 30 minutes.
Yeah, I think it's different.
Or maybe I'm not working hard enough, perhaps.
No, I think it's neither of those. I think what change I've seen, like the Chris I've seen from those early days to now, what the change I've seen in you is you're no longer fighting yourself to achieve something. You're actually a much more relaxed runner. And that is the thing, which is if your body's already your brain is making a lot of noise and you're trying to achieve something, you've got other things going on in there. There's blood flow going somewhere. There's all sorts of things happening, which is probably what that spew is from. And the moment I stopped doing this overthinking thing, and the last few intervals I've done is all of a sudden it's just been plain sailing. It's not about eating first. It's not about anything. It's not about taking a gel. It's not about nutrition. Sorry, nutrition people, I know. But, but it is literally about yourself and being calm and smiling and just say, I got this. And it's not, and then quieting that noise. So for me, the biggest health discovery, I think that has probably changed my life. But obviously we'll know more this year. We'll see how Sydney goes. Is this somatics is basically what I've been doing. So I've done the whole somatics course. And for, I guess if you don't know what somatics is, it's basically the software that you're working on. Whereas everything else, from your alpha flies to your orthotics to your foam rollers, everything is hardware. Everything's related to working on the hardware. The software is basically what your brain tells your body to do. It's as simple as that. It's your neuro stuff. And if you can't control that, then you're no matter what work you do on the hardware, you're constantly going to go to the pit stop, which is not the toilet, but the physio to get the little pins in, and you get all that kind of stuff. So if your nervous system can actually tell you, calm you down, and tell you, hang on, this ankle, Ashul, of yours that's been really bugging you, if you let it open up, it will open up, and you can dorsiflex. And that's been, I think, the boom moment for me, is that yes, it's possible. It's not like pseudoscience. It's not putting in 10 more grams of creatine. This is just literally sitting there, looking at your feet and pendiculating them slightly, turning them this way and turning them a bit more, and relaxing your muscle system. And that was, to me, is like the wow moment, and how that then translates into your running. So my recent Strava runs, I'm starting to call myself the Pogo Fit. And the Pogo is because mentally what I'm doing is I'm getting my cadence up to like 180 plus, so 184 to 195. And it's even on my easy runs to just do that. But the only way you can do that is by stop being a sponge and doing your run slowly, landing and going on, but literally just pogoing off. And that's meant that my glutes have started firing again, and my calves feel like I have done nothing. And so I'll use the AI. I looked at my data for the last 10 marathons that I've got a stride device on my foot, and all the data that got analyzed, it wasn't actually heat. It wasn't about electrolyte imbalance and all that stuff. At the end of the day, the cadence just literally at some stage stopped, and as soon as it stopped, the whole run sort of faltered. And it was almost like what I was doing was mechanically I tired myself out in my run completely until there was nothing left, and that was it. I was finished, because all I was doing was muscling my way through the run, as opposed to actually using some energy efficiency coming back. And I think for me, what opened up my eyes just last week was, hence what the carbon plate did for me, was it gave me the orthotic, it gave me the sub 4 marathon, but it also gave me that extra 5 or 10 kilometers because it helped with the pogo effects. So if you notice, the other thing that I keep talking about is my Morel trail gloves and my Escalante zero drop shoes. So those things are my normal go-to shoes now, and that's so that I'm getting some tactile response from the ground. And that's actually giving my feet. So I've stopped doing my gym workout for my lower legs now, because the calf raises and all of that, I don't need that anymore. If I'm going to run in trail gloves on the road, then I have to use it. And if I want to make them pogo, then I have to use that bounce. And I have to create it. And I do it on grass now as well, which is even harder. But that's been really good. It's been actually nice to see my watch actually saying 102% efficiency on every single run now, which I'm like, wow, okay, well, it's slow, but I'm still 102% efficiency means I'm going somewhere.
Yeah.
So we'll see how we go. Sorry, am I just?
No, not at all. No, I think it's an important thing to think about because I feel like a lot of people can spend a lot of time looking in all the wrong places, about for what might be going wrong, and often searching for those things is the difficult thing, and having the objective like oversight to be able to find out. I guess what brought the somatics to you, Ashul? Like
so that's the thing. So one like my physio that I absolutely love, Leanne, she's discovered two things about me that have been life changing. Lots of things today have been life changing, but these were absolutely life changing. One was she noticed that I had very shallow breathing. So this was last 2 years ago, and she goes, Ashul, what's wrong with your breathing? And what do you mean? That's how I breathe normally. And she goes, well, you're so I didn't realize I have never done a full diaphragm breath at all. So mine has always been like up to there, and then that was it. Up to but just for the people who can't see. So
yeah.
I just realized.
That's okay.
So she picked that up, and that changed a lot, and that meant that my last couple of marathons had been really good. And I actually became a lot better runner because I was deeper breather. But the last time I was back in to see Leanne was because I just could not shake this ankle-ish kind of hurt that I was getting. She got me to do some calf raises. And she said, what are you doing, Ashleigh? What do you mean? What am I doing? I'm doing calf raises. She goes, your big toe, it keeps on going up. What do you mean? And it was like, looked at it and I said, well, I don't know. And then I sort of realized that I've always done that. So I've always had this imbalance. So every person I've asked advice from has never worked out why one shoe is always eaten up completely. But anyway, what's happening is I was toeing off by putting my big toe up. That we find out later, much later now, is that it was one of those drunken episodes where you jump off a jetty as far as you can. And I pushed myself out so hard that my big toe snapped off.
Oh, shit.
It was the most painful thing at that time. But the body would have obviously then recovered and realized that, no, from now on, the brain is always, I'm going to protect you by raising you up. And it never thought about that. So all my running injuries have come back to this one imbalance, which has meant then my hip bursitis comes or anything happens, both sides, just because one imbalance is causing you all of this. So this is where now everything's come together. And it's like, well, this eureka moment where you understood that big toe, which is what I sort of had been fixing since Kilimanjaro. And that's what went wrong in Kilimanjaro. And so that balance issue and the I can't say the word, perception, whatever. I can someone say
proprioception?
Proprioception, that's right.
I would have had no idea.
Yeah. It's about your sense of where you are, Simon. So if you were to shut your eyes and maybe do leg raises, you might find that you're a bit off. But if you keep your eyes open, because you feel comfortable in your surrounds, you're able to do something. So I got that that all of that sort of came together with this toe being put down. So Valencia was my first marathon with my toe down, but when I ran it, it unfortunately had created other issues where the shoes didn't feel right. So there were other things that went wrong, but I still didn't have this pogo effect. So hence I'm looking forward to my next marathon where I think everything should hopefully be right. I should
down.
Actually do something pretty amazing.
So you've done like heaps of travel, right? For all these marathons. So whether it's Kilimanjaro, Reykjavik, Berlin, you did Valencia and a couple of others. What has, I guess, traveling for marathons or running taught you about your running?
Okay, so yes, I have done a few. I've traveled quite a bit. I think Cape Town, probably Two Oceans, was my most favorite marathon. That's probably the most beautiful thing and probably the most hardest thing you can do because the hills start after 21 Ks. Lisbon was another one which was actually quite nice, and that was a good lesson. But I think South Africa for me is just a place where it was going back to Africa, really my first race ever in Africa. It was, for me, it was that whole "it's time for Africa" Shakira, and the whole thing, waka waka hey hey, and it was just a beautiful thing. And it was homecoming. It felt really good. And more of some of what I've learned is about is more about how much running is enjoyable when you're traveling,
Yeah.
and how everyone should run whenever they're traveling. Having said that, I've got some very crazy stories, which, like, of all places, Gujarat in India, where I'm basically hearing lion roars. And because we were staying next to a colony where they had lions there, and then I had all these buffalo come straight face to face, and one of them nearly body checked me, and that was, yeah, this was
Whoa.
one of those things where I think where running is a bit like, where I've had interesting things. I've been chased by a roadrunner chook in Vietnam, which was the funniest thing. Because imagine that thing can run, and it can go
Yeah.
fast. And I honestly did a 4:45 kilometer. Obviously, he didn't chase me for the whole kilometer, but that was quite funny. Obviously, Bali, everywhere you go where you start running, I think it just is it's really, really sort of brings it all together, brings it in nicely, and the journey feels complete by when you do a run whenever you're traveling. So I think from that perspective, having traveled everywhere, I still say my probably like most favorite marathons, even though I've traveled the world or I've traveled so many places, would probably be Wajimop.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, like, it's just beautiful. Look, Perth could have been beautiful, but Simon, as you know, the bloody Kwinana freeway, and they've just ruined the whole thing. Every single marathon, they close a nice road. We've got big roads. We've got St. George's Terrace. We got all the other roads that could be closed, and you could do it, but we had to do the freeway. It's just that's how we do it. So the freeway marathon is not my cup of tea, but the old one, which went up Majestic and into Tompkin Park and all that, and came back. That was nice. Canberra, it's got the freeway on ramp, off ramps, but it's also got a lot of other nice Canberra-ish things. Canberra is not a big place, so you have to get onto the freeway, unfortunately. Sydney was beautiful, but I don't know. Sydney, the Harbour Bridge, I think, was did it for me. But I think for me, my most favorite ones, Two Oceans, Outback. If you haven't done it, that is one marathon that you need to do.
The Outback Marathon.
Outback
Yeah.
Marathon. Yeah.
Yeah.
That seeing that sunrise over Uluru is just the most incredible. And being there in Central Australia, where it's just literally on the compacted sand and just yourself on your own, and it's not a very big marathon. I'm not a majors fan. So Berlin, all of that was probably my last. Sydney, unfortunately, I'm stuck with having to do it. But I'm not a majors fan. I prefer
Interesting.
a smaller marathon. It's just a nicer thing. And for a long time, Three Waters used to be my go-to, because you meet every single volunteer, you high five them. It's just such a nice vibe. So yeah.
Awesome.
Well, Ashul, we've made it all the way back to Perth. We've been on your travels with you, and I wanted to ask you a little bit about the Marathon Club. Obviously, you, as Chris opened with the award that you won for most inspirational runner, and having never met you, but listening to you talk for the last little while, I can completely see why you won that award, because
Thank you.
I think the fact that you kind of you've kind of come back to your core and what's important and what you need to change, and almost kind of a reflection that you're a work in progress, and your curiosity has led you to kind of discovering all these things that have enabled you to get to where you are in running and in life generally, I think just speaks volumes. Talk to us a little bit about your experience with the Marathon Club and what it means for you and what it means for the community in here in Perth,
Yeah,
Western
so
Australia.
that was one of the things where I've always thought. So my business, we do a lot of giving back, and we do. So we're known primarily in Australia for volunteering. So Seek Volunteer, for example, outsourced to us, and we do a lot of like volunteer stuff. One of our products involved is volunteer management software, but because we're very highly skilled sort of web people, that's a self plug. Uh, and one of the things that really annoyed me every time I would go to the Marathon Club website was registering for a race, and it was just a nightmare. And I spoke with Paul, the IG guy on the committee, and just saying that we need to do something here, and we need to change it. And that conversation just led to this whole rebuild, which I thought it was a small bite, our community kind of thing that we'll do. And 300 hours later, we built this little shell, but we ended up being so it's been behind the scenes, it's been really hard work. But in front, from what you guys see, the club has changed like amazingly. From It's become a well-oiled machine. It's making a lot of money from those events. It's giving back to charity as a consequence. It's doing its purpose as a not-for-profit, and it's also brought the community together, and it's made things better for the community. And for me, that was the whole cause. So that's what I want to do, was just to try and use our technical skills to make it into a self-sustaining kind of event management system that just does a good job. And for me, the exciting nerdy things were like when Paul said, let's get this new timing system. And we're like, yeah, that's so cool, because now we can do some really cool things with it and all that. So there's lots of change coming still. And lots of it. The wheels move very slowly in terms of when we try and build something, we sort of have to rethink everything, why we're doing it, what we're doing. And you obviously want to make sure that the community gets full benefit of what we're doing. So it's not as quick as possible. You can't see things happening in 1 year, but like this year, so the latest new thing that we're doing is just having the capability to buy your merchandise online, so you can actually. But I think the thing that excites me most, because this year is that I've always wanted to do is build the best volunteer management system that can be within the club itself. So if you rock up there as a volunteer, you know what to do. You got GPS coordinates of where you need to be. You have your orientation pack ready on your phone. You know exactly what everything. So that's where I want to get to. There's other things that I also want to do, which is like get the more camaraderie within the club, like you can organize runs together and do all that kind of stuff. But we've got some privacy issues, and we're not sure about whether some things can work well or not. So there's a bit of legal hurdles and things to go over, and also conversations to be had. But yeah, it's exciting to be able to use your passion for running and build the technology behind something to be able to, then that benefits everyone, the wider community. So in some ways, I feel a bit bad because I get to do everything that's really cool because I love it and I love the sport. So.
And that's your company, isn't it? You're talking about that supports the Marathon Club with software that enables registration platforms. Yeah, great. My next question is, and we're going to talk about it again. So despite the fact that this podcast is widely known, I think these days is a bit of a propaganda podcast for Team Tina, you have joined us with Team Tina, with Simon and I. And I was interested to know how your training has evolving under Tina in the last.
It's been interesting. So one of the things that I think my journey is it's a strange one, where I've got a lot of experience. I've got a lot of experience about running, and I could give everyone advice about running. But I think what Tina brings to the table is she threw all of that away. And she said, do a time trial, show me what you've got, and from there we work over it. And she treats me like I have no idea. Like absolutely. And I've taken that, I call her sensei, and I've taken that up into that wax on, wax off. You tell me what to do, I do it. I do not question. I follow to the hilt. And the good thing is I bring the discipline that a new athlete needs.
Yeah.
But she brings a head that an old athlete needs to get better. And I think that that teacher mentality of hers is probably what is endearing me to that whole TT kind of concept, because that is just perfect for me. And she's got me starting on such an easy sort of base that I've had a chance to think about everything. I've had a chance to focus on what the somatic side means, what the tactile response means, because I'm not chasing miles every day. I've got so many rest days. I've got basically this whole beginning part, which is all about me and all about just getting the tempo and the threshold runs organized. But aside from that, there's nothing else, which is good.
Yeah.
So I'm running basically 2 days a week. Well, obviously not 5, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, great. Well, I am for one. I'm excited to see how you go with Tina, and I agree with everything you just said. That her mindset and her philosophy is so useful, and it is just about. Sometimes it's about having somebody there to tell you to stop rather than telling you to go. I think with a running coach. So, one final question, Ashul, before we get into training weeks. I would love to know what, if you've got any final pieces of advice for younger listeners and potentially our older listeners as well, or that you want to leave people with.
Okay, so I think my one piece of advice is that never try and fit a round peg in a square hole. I was in the way around the square peg.
Depends how big the round peg is, I suppose. It's bigger.
Yeah, I see it all the time, Vicky. I see everyone making the same mistakes. Just because you ran one marathon in 3:30 doesn't mean every marathon will be that fast. And because you fluked it 10 years ago when you were young and able, you can't. So just tend to take the time to focus on things, and also tend to take the time to build yourself slowly. That 10% rule is there for a reason, unless you are Chris, then
Yeah, it's so fucking annoying, Ashul. Like he was like injured. He was injured over Christmas, and then he's back to 130 k's.
That's right.
Fucking ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous.
Sickening.
Yeah.
I think if you look at the Strava graph, guys, there is a 10% increase just going up and up and up.
Yeah, so I think Vicky, it is really about grounding yourself and being there, not for I hate it when people are advertising, get your PBs and get your this, and on Instagram is just full of that. I think it's about experience the joy of running, and it's about, and this is, the first time Simon didn't do his sub 3, and he was so frustrated. First thing that crossed my mind was, mate, if you just relaxed, you would be able to do it. But is that's the whole thing. It's that you just sometimes you just need to go with the flow, and you need to get into the flow. Don't let numbers get in front of you.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. I think especially as we get older, it's good to enjoy what we do, and that's the most important thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't mean that you stop either. It means you do push yourself. I think the one thing that I did learn early on in life is that conversation with God is actually a good thing. And by that, what I mean is do that VO2 spew or whichever it is, because you have to do that. You have to keep doing that, and that you're never too old for. I think you need to chase that bit of extra bit. But you don't have to do it that often. You can do it once a week.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, speaking of training, so has training been in the last week? So Sydney's in the horizon. It's in August, but do you have any goals, short-term goals in the lead up to Sydney, and what's training been like in the last week?
No, so for me, like I said, it's very, very quiet, very easy. So I've got one long run. My long run, it's quite embarrassing to call it a long run, but anyway, it is a long run. It's 65 minutes, and then I've got a couple of walk run 30-minute slots, and then I've got a interval session and a tempo session. So it's pretty much as low key as you can expect it to be. So training's actually been really good fun. It's actually been the best.
Yeah, great.
So I guess it just gets worse from here, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah. I mean, when you get closer to Sydney Marathon, yeah, you'll enjoy the 3 hour 15 long run on a Sunday after.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing that I do not enjoy and I don't like doing is too much racing. I used to do that. I used to love going to all the YMC ones and everything else. But I think the more you limit them, the more you then get to do some bit of consistency work. So, yeah.
Beautiful. Excellent. All right. Well, let's move across to Vicky. How's your training been?
It's been okay. I think on paper it looks fine, but it doesn't feel that fine. But I am enjoying it, so that's the main thing. I did 98 Ks this week, which I was quite well. I actually said yesterday, I announced on a run yesterday that if I go over 97 Ks, something bad will happen, and I did 98.4. And so nothing bad happened, but I did think I just feel like I'm getting nervous as soon as I get too close to 100, because I know that when 100 is the point where I break. So yeah, I did a 6-hour Herdies recce on Friday night, which was okay. I just feel like I'm teetering on the edge of, like, my Achilles is not happy, my knee isn't happy, and everything's just a bit, but hanging on in there. And I am really enjoying it. And, I went for a run this morning with some of the yellow crew on a normal public holiday surcharge run that we do. And I was just like, they were annoyed at me because I was running too fast. And I was like, I'm just going to walk this. And then I ended up running far too fast and set the pace. And I kept going, right, I'm going to walk up the hill, and I'm still running up the hill. And I'm like, I didn't walk at all. And I just felt poppy, and I was really enjoying it. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to enjoy it while I can, because, tomorrow I might not enjoy it as much. So I know it's a training run, and there's no glory in training, but sometimes you just have to take what you can get. So that's what I've been doing, and hoping that everything holds out.
So you've got 11 days till Herdies. You've done a couple of recce runs there. You're teetering on the edge of injury. So what's the next 11 days going to be like to make sure that you're A-OK come Friday the 13th?
Well, if it was left up to Tina, I'd be doing a full week of training. I've got a build run tomorrow. I've got because she's been managing my load and like not doing like sort of VO2 max intervals or anything like that. Anything faster, we've been building into it through the course of a run, which has been sensible and good for me. So I've got a build run tomorrow. I've got 90 minutes Wednesday. Thursday I'm meant to be doing, I think, a 5K tempo, which I'm probably not going to do. And I'll just do an easy run. I have to do my last person standing 23K at some point this week, week 23, which is a big run to do this week. So I think I'm going to walk it on Friday. And then just probably, not much over the weekend, maybe a park run on Saturday. So I'm kind of throwing some of the sessions out the window and just going, right, what do I need to do to get by with I'm not going to get any fitter at this point. I don't need to practice any nutrition. All I need to do is just sleep and wrap myself in cotton wool and get massages. So that's the plan. Yeah.
Beautiful. And run 23 Ks in there somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, but I can do that. I could just do that by walking a couple of laps of the lake. And
Excellent. Chris, how's your week been, mate?
Speaking of flying close to the sun, it's been good. I did 11 hours of running this week, and a gym. Only managed the gym once this week, unfortunately. But Had just been super busy, but yeah, didn't run Monday. Did a Mona on Tuesday with Ordwin around Bibra Lake. First time I've done a Mona in about 9 months, I reckon. So it's been a while. I did a lactate threshold test at Front Runner on Thursday, which was really cool. Haven't got the results quite yet, but I spent some time with Xander, who works with RAF there. He took me through the process, and it was really interesting kind of getting there because I don't run on a treadmill ever, and so I was terrified. I said when I went in, I was like, I'm more scared of doing this than I am doing a race. Not because of the pinpricks and stuff. It was more just the thought of running on a treadmill. So, effectively, it was great. I think we'll cover it in a future episode where we go through the results, and we'll get Xander or Raf on to talk through exactly what those results mean for my training zones. But that's effectively what it was for, is to find out what my training zones are, and whether or not I'm, because most of my training at the moment's through my RPE, I guess, and just figuring out how my body responds to training, and then adjusting it slightly if feel like I'm going too hard or I'm not going hard enough. So it'll be interesting to see if those results come back and close to, like, if my heart rate is roughly where it should be, or if my paces are where they should be for different parts of my training. So looking forward to hearing about that. And then I got out in the bush on Sunday with Ordwin. I planned to do about 4 hours. I think we ended up doing 3 hours 45. Audie's coming back from a knee injury, so his physio let him go for a 20-kilometre run. So he joined me I did one lap with him, which was great to have him back out there again. We didn't see a single soul out there on the trail the whole time. It was beautiful. We started at 5, so it was pitch black, head torches and stuff, which was wicked. And then I did another lap, a different route, but another 20 Ks solo after that. So that, I think, it topped out at about 127K for the week. So again, I think I don't know. I think I said maybe 6 weeks ago that I probably just start to kind of plateau out. But I'm enjoying running at the moment, as Vici is and as Ashul is. So I'm just going to keep doing more of it until either
break.
No.
I feel like if I'm running 6 days a week at the moment, so I feel like I'm being pretty sensible. I'm having Mondays off, like, as a concerted effort to rest, but also be able to spend time with family and stuff. So and to record a podcast on a Monday night. So it's good. It's good running a lot again. I really enjoy running a lot, and I feel like I'm fit enough for Bunbury, so my role for that will be fine. It's just about where my fitness takes me, and hopefully this lactate threshold testing will give me some ideas about what I might do in the second half of the year outside of Transcend. So, it's good.
And you said that you were going to do 4 hours on Sunday, but you still covered 40K, so decent clip.
Yeah.
Are you building those long runs on Sunday with, I guess, the horizon of Transcend? So we're going to foresee some big Sunday long runs in the future?
Yeah, I think, as Ashul might have alluded to on my Strava on the weekend, that there's probably going to be some ultra training runs coming up. So I think maybe not quite before, or maybe we'll see, but before Bunbury. The plan is to probably start pushing out those long runs on a Sunday or Saturday to 5 hours. So if starting early and then hopefully finishing at a reasonable hour so I can get home. But so I won't know what the distance is really. It's more about time on legs, and
Sure.
Right now, like, elevation's not a huge priority at the moment. Just I know that if I do a lot of Ks and a lot of elevation, I'll end up cooking myself. So the idea is that as I move past Bunbury, then elevation and time will become the main kind of
Focus.
Focus and parameters for my running. So I don't know how many hours a week I'll be looking at, but I'll be looking at pushing those long runs out to, like, my midweek long run will become 3 hours, and my weekend long run will become 5 hours. So already there's 8 hours of running, and then I've just got to find 4 other days and just hopefully not destroy myself in the process. But I feel like that'll be a good way to get myself prepared for something like this, which I fully appreciate how difficult it will be, and so I don't want to go into it undercooked and then end up on the sidelines for 3 months afterwards because I've underestimated what it is that I'm kind of undertaking.
I feel like
Very
we should
good.
go back and listen to the old episodes where it was the previous hosts with Dan, when Dan was training for Transcend, and see what comparisons we can draw between his training and approach and your training and approach.
Yeah, I haven't listened to them again, but I do remember a lot of them. And I know he was, and I think this is quite a common thing, is doing back-to-back long runs where they do, a long run or a longer run on the Saturday and then a longer run on the Sunday. And it might total, close to 8 hours or 9 hours, depending on what your goal time is. Yeah, I just don't feasibly, I can't make that work with my kind of other commitments in life. So I think, my training will be slightly different. I would love to beat Dan's time at Transcend. That would be amazing, which I think is somewhere around 8 hours and 15 minutes or something like that. But I don't have a real goal time for this. I just want to go in and enjoy it, go into it fit, and that will enable me to have more fun because I will be able to hopefully get through the second half of it without an injury. But no, it's good.
Yeah.
Training's good, and
Good.
running's fun.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. Well, I'll go through my training quickly. Another good week. So I've been, increasing my mileage week on week ever since Matilda Bay back in mid-Jan. So creeping up to the triple digits and, just a slight increase in 121 this week. Probably been a funny week in training because just with house stuff at the moment. So I've been having the phone on standby. So my sessions have been generally rubbish this week. But Saturday was alternating Ks. So me and the marathoners were doing alternating Ks one way while the rest of the gang, I think we're doing, 3x4K, I think, up the other way. But so, on Saturdays it was pretty humid, pretty windy. So it was pretty tough going up and down the coast. Alternating Ks, we had 10 Ks worth. So Tina's basically been giving me, I don't know, some ridiculous paces to run these alternating Ks. So she got me running 3:30 for the on and then 3:45s on the offs, which is just not realistic whatsoever. But so I went out sort of 3:35s, 3:50s for the on and off, and then we were heading into the headwind, so kind of just pulled back a little bit to 3:45s to 4s, and then had the tailwind on the other side, so was able to push the pace. So that ended up being really good. Yeah, pretty happy with that. So absolutely rinsed myself in that session, and then pulled up okay Sunday morning, and I don't know if you guys remember, Sunday morning was just absolutely glorious weather.
It was the best,
It was beautiful running weather.
Absolutely beautiful. So it felt cute. Ran 40 Ks. That wasn't part of the plan. Lately I've been on my long runs running to my new house and then just going on an adventure around the area. So I did that yesterday and ended up on the coast, and then I saw the BTRC guys, so I was running with them for a couple of Ks before turning around, and quick maths, it ended up being sort of 40 Ks in the end, but body felt great.
Sick.
Yeah. So, sort of this 100 to 120K weeks is almost this sweet spot because I'm feeling pretty fit. Look, obviously Herdies is in 2 weeks, so it's going to be a slight taper heading to Herdies, and then we don't know what Herdies will do to my body, so we'll reevaluate on the 14th or the 15th of March to see what my body will be like then, and go from there. But so far so good. Saw Ella on Friday, first time seeing a physio, and
Ever?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah.
Well.
No. She said that I am built different and my joints are very normal. So that's always a good sign. Yeah. So I've kind of pre-booked her post Herdies because we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's been great. A great couple of weeks of training, and I didn't think I would feel this way doing this sort of mileage. Because usually when I'm sort of hovering in this 120 mark, my body is starting to redline slightly and I'm tired all the time. But yeah, I feel pretty good.
That's good.
Mm.
Have you changed anything else outside of the actual training? Like calories, carbs?
Not really. Yeah, nothing in particular. I mean, I'm sort of training in harder conditions more than anything. I guess it's been more humid. I am running more of my sort of runs in the midday, afternoon. So when it's really, really hot, maybe I'm sleeping more. Like the quality of my sleep perhaps is better because I used to just wake up at 4 o'clock and try and squeeze a 5 o'clock run before I start the day. Whereas now I accept my fate and run in the heat. But at least I sleep in a little bit. So
that'll definitely contribute. Yeah, for sure.
100%. And Ashul's theory must be right. You are just more relaxed about it.
Maybe I'm more chill now. I mean, that's a good point because I was talking to someone. Who was I talking to on Saturday? I think last year in particular, I was just obsessed with racing and hitting a particular target or goal. Whereas I think getting over that sub-3 sort of monkey, I'm a little more relaxed with everything. So, there's something about that which, has perhaps made a big difference in terms of the races I've got on this year. Even though they're big swings and big targets, I think my mindset has changed slightly where, I'm not too fussed and I'm not too concerned if I don't hit the goal, right? So it's probably something to that.
Oh, I'm very glad to hear that. Very glad to hear that. It's a nice.
Yeah, I think, like obviously getting over the sub-3 is a big thing, and I think Kat probably gave you some good advice back, like post Gold Coast, about saying just like get it done because that now you can kind of train and run as hard as you like and for as long as you like, and without any real like you say if hypothetically you do have a marathon coming up, right?
Yep.
You could go in that you could go into that marathon without a goal time and just knock it out of the park, because you don't have on the back. It's like, well, fuck, if I don't run 4:15s for the next 20 kilometers, I'm not going to be able to do it. Sure. You can go into it without a limit. There's no limiter on your possibility, so you can shoot for the stars, I guess. So that's it.
I think like whatever race I'm doing over the next couple of months, it's very much a big swing at everything. And if I don't hit it, that's fine. Like I'll get over it pretty quickly. And there's a couple of races I've got planned later this year, whether they're halves or 10s. So definitely a different mindset from last year. I think last year I was a little bit too obsessed in terms of trying to nail every session, trying to hit all the mileage that Tina was giving me and, following everything to the T. Whereas now I'm a little bit more sort of in tune with my body and comfortable where I am and know where to push and when to sort of hold back a little bit. So it's been good.
That's great.
Just get through Herdies. Tina's been saying, so just to be sure, 15 yards, right? And I'm like, yes, 15.
I thought it was 17.
Maybe 16, but yeah, it's 15. 15 gets me to 100. That's it.
Yeah. But what about Linda's early, sleeping?
I was thinking that,
yeah. It's all 16. 16, so 106.71.
Yeah. So I guess you've changed your perspective a little bit. Would you refer to yourself as a casual runner now, or?
I mean, not too casual. I did
wrong podcast, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot what podcast I was on. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still somewhat competitive, and I feel like other people have fueled me. other people have fueled me on to, train a little bit harder over the last couple of weeks. But yeah, no, I not casual by any means.
Okay, just establishing that. Great. Let's jump into results, shall we?
Yes.
Vicky, do you want to lead us off with the Perth Trail Series?
Yes, we've got the Chitty Chitty Run, so I will rattle through these. It was Saturday and Sunday this year. They did, it looks like, their black, blue and green courses on the Saturday night, so twilight runs or perhaps night runs, starting at 6 p.m. And then they did a bit of a camp out, DJ, food trucks, various things going on there, which sounds like it was good fun. And then did the same again on the Sunday morning, which sounds like an awesome weekend. It looked like the whole thing was sold out as well. So pretty good to sell out those events twice over. In the green, the males, David Lowe took that out in 30 minutes flat, followed by Lee Chat and Mitchell Cheshpanik. And I don't know whether I pronounced that right, but I'm going to go with it. In the females, for the green course, Anna Kearney was first female in 33:09, followed by Sandra Sivua and Claire Galbraith. On the blue course, for the males, Lionel Murphy was first male in 54:13, followed by Sam Rowlands and Raphael Kimberly Bowen. In the females, for the blue course, Madeline McLaren was first in 1:04, followed by Ria Patel and Beck Cohen. And then for the black course, the males, Thomas Gauthier was first in 1:19:27, followed by Edwin Swain and Ashleigh Melua. And then the females, Kirsten Brist, which we haven't heard that name for a little while, a few weeks now, but Kirsten was first female in 1:28:48, followed by Casey Edlington and Or Malif. And then that was the Saturday night runs. The Sunday runs, I'm going to say the females first, because the first and second female were the first and second overall in the green. So Ebony Reagan was first in 29:29, followed by Emily Murphy and Ali Brown. The green males, Matthew Sheshpanik was first in 31:17, followed by possibly his brother Mitchell, and coming in third was Hyrule Dicker. Then the blue course for the males, Ben Print was first in 54:08, followed by Cameron Whitney, and again Raphael Kimberly Bowen was third male. In the females for the blue course on the Sunday, Claire Eatwell was first in 1:17 flat, followed by Rachel Knight and Stella Stankoff. And finally, the black black horse for the males was Gus Curry. I know. I was just doing very well. I was doing so well. Gus Curry was first in 1:29:39, followed by Zach Thomas in 1:32:25, and Chris Nookie. He's a last person standing mainstay, so still in the competition. 1:32 with third, and then the black course for the females, Anna Kearney again was first in 1:46, followed by Jamie Stevens, and Kirsten Brewist again was third female in that one.
Back-to-back days for Kirsten on the black course. That's crazy.
Big days, yeah.
Very big days. All right, we've got the Runningworks Lark Hill Party Ultra. Take us away, Chris.
Yep. So we had the 8K Revelry, which was 3 laps of the course. Riley Kerr won in 30 minutes, 49 seconds, followed by Nick Moore and Noah Jousey. Ebony Regan featuring here in this race too. So she's had a busy weekend, coming in first in 35:11, followed by Bron Lana and then Gail James. The 25K Twilight, which is 9 laps, Liam Fury from the Marathon Club ran that with 1:38, taking out the win, followed by Liam Lilly, also of the Marathon Club. Thomas Avachilia Puebla in 2:03:16, coming in third. Danielle Halliday coming 2:08:46 first for the women there. Crystal Taylor coming second, and then Karen Costas coming third. The 50K Wingding, 51 kilometres or 17 laps, was won by Paul Rickard in 4:31:04, followed by Ben Wilson and Peter Morris. And then the women's race was won by Holly Taylor in 5:03:39, followed by Maya Albrecht and and then Yvonne Porteous coming in third. Now, I'm missing something here. What am I missing? I'm missing a line. It is the miler I'm missing. So the miler, there was a 50 miler. There was only a handful of runners in this course. It was won by Petra Georgian in 7 hours 43:57, followed by Dale Gordon and in 8:10:32, and then Nathan Metcalf in 9:20:08. And finally, the Mega Multi-Stage Rager, which is 64 kilometres. I'm not exactly sure how the stages work because I was trying to add the numbers up and nothing ever came to the same number. But Scott Tamblin won that in 8 hours, 15 minutes, 14 seconds, followed by Jay McDonnell and then Jude Burley. And then Bibra Lake specialist Leanne Flugel won the women's race in 8 hours, 28:14, followed by Chelsea Topless, the only other female, in 8:50:35. So I believe we've got a recap here from Mark Griffiths and some of the team at the Bibra Lake running group. So I think Mark also ran this mega multi-stage rager with a few of the crew, but I guess we'll find out now. Let's listen to it.
Hey Team Warp, Agent Mark here, just checking in from the Runningworks High Quality Ultra. Yep, all done and dusted now. It's been a long day. Here on the trails with a few different events, different distances. Weather-wise, well, it's been pretty good. Much cooler than in previous years. It's been pretty stifling. 32 degrees, I think last year maybe. I don't know. I know it was flipping hot, but yeah, this year around mid-20s. Very windy though. The start of the race, before it even started, the big gazebo got flattened by the wind at the top of the hill. But yeah, I'd still rather take that any day than the heat or humidity we normally get. This year, I signed up for the Mega Rager, which is a multi-stage event, quite similar to a backyard ultra. The whole idea is they have to complete each stage to qualify for the next one, and then the winner is the person who completes the final stage in the fastest amount of time. So, with regards to my racing this year, I succumbed to FOMO a few weeks ago, and I signed up for Herdies again. So, yeah, I went into this looking. This was a perfect training run to break out the recliner, practice running slow again. There's run, walk, bit of jeffing, eating different foods while running, and making sure my stomach can handle gallons and gallons of Bix again. My game plan was not to die. Also, more intricately, to complete each stage while exerting the least amount of energy, and yet to come away with no niggles. Didn't want any niggles after this event. But obviously, to go with this, it also meant not defending my second place finish from last year. And yeah, just had to make sure I enjoyed the day. And yeah, all good. Had mega raging fun. Boxes ticked. Yeah, good day. Might come back again next year. Here we go.
Thanks, Mark. That's a good recap there. I guess we know what the multi-stage rager is now. But yeah, I would like to ask, Vicky, you're from the UK. What is jeffing?
Walking.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Thanks. I was just wanted to clarify.
I wasn't sure either.
Well, do you know what? I only know because Big Kev kept saying it to me this morning on a run.
Oh, interesting. Well, I know effing and jeffing, but I don't know what just jeffing is. So,
I mean, no, we have a Jeff in our group at Yellow, and they were talking. He kept saying to me, "Jeffing." Oh, it was yesterday actually. Was he talking about jeffing? And I was like, "Are you talking about Jeff?" So I don't know. I feel like I should probably know.
I'm sure Mark can enlighten us on the next time he
Smile and nod.
So wasn't that walking Jeff Galloway's way, or is that something else?
Oh, maybe it might be. You might be right. Yeah.
I think that is, definitely is the thing that they use for the walk run method. But yeah, could be.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Let's just say it's that because we're all about misinformation on this podcast. So
let's go with that. That sounds about right.
We also had the Bin to Bin marathon out at Narrabeen on Sunday. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any times available, but Kylie at the Bin to Bin committee did send us the results, which was awesome. So the half marathon could be done in a solo, or half marathon and the marathon could be done in a solo or a relay. So we've got a few results here. The men's half marathon was won by Hamish Hutton, followed by Dylan Cornish and Alex Moore. The women's was won by Maddie Doyle, followed by Beck Heverin and Sari Wooten. There was a duo team who took out that race in Nate Cowan and Miranda Bailey Wooten. And the team half marathon was won by Danny Coleman, Brendan Ellis, Sarah Ellis, and Sam Ellis. So this Ellis family, the Ellis family 3 taking on the Coleman there. And then the marathon, the men's race was won by Ethan Stirrett, followed by Shane Arris and then Darcy Roden. Tara Taylor won the women's race, followed by Jacinta Webster and Elaine Conkling, and Laura Firth coming equal third. So I'm not quite sure how that's happened, but if it's it looks like it might be similar to the Tokyo Marathon men's race results, actually, very close. The duo was won by Oliver Moore and Emma McCurry. And then the team marathon was won by Kai Stirrett, Declan Nichols, Jack Downey, and Hayden Spriggs. So I saw a few short videos of that run. It looked pretty fun. I have been dreaming about doing a kind of slightly unhinged regional marathon. I think I talked to you last year, Simon, about doing a run, which I won't don't disclose it. It's
okay. That's right. Somewhere else.
somewhere somewhere east of Perth, and just doing it for a bit of shits and giggles. So, okay. Maybe next year the bin to bin is my goal race, but we'll find out soon. Do you want to take us through the Peninsula Run, mate, that happened tonight, actually?
Tonight, yeah. So it must be, Ashul's website that, we were able to get the results almost instantly. So we had the 5K and the 10K at the Twilight Run this evening. So we'll start with the 5K. We had Sota Behara in a blistering time of 16:37. We had Mike Lawson coming second in 17:14. And we had Riley Kerr coming third in 17:51. In the women's race, we had Chantal Langhorne in a time of 20:28, Sarah Hennessy in 20:36, and Simone Ethbeth in a time of 22:33. And then over in the 10K, we had Cheng Run Lee in a time of 35:29, Piero Mararo in 35:34, and Elliot Foy in 36:08, sorry. And in the women's race, we had Catherine Stockwell taking that out in 38:59, Shelley Smith coming second, 40:15, and Carolee Hatch in 41:30. So some very quick times this evening. I think there was a bit of wind flapping about, so some really good times there.
I just saw so Riley came up on the 5K there. He also ran that 8K at Runningworks on Saturday night, and he won that. So he's run more or less the same pace for both of those runs, and the Lark Hill one is partially on sand. So that's wild. But that's what young triathletes do these days, is just destroy road races.
Yeah, very good, Riley.
Yeah. On to 16.
All right, Vicky, we've got Tokyo Marathon.
Yes, Tokyo Marathon. I will just run through the shout-outs from WA counterparts here rather than go through the top of the race. So Neera Jerab ran the Tokyo Marathon in 2:49:17. Lauren French was also there and did a great time of 2:53:34. We had Nicholas Ng in 2:55:55, which was a 4-minute PB. Amazing run from you, Nicholas. Ashleigh, one of the Team Tina crew, ran 3:05:33. A really great gutsy run from her as well. She took a big swing, and then she had some challenges in the back half of the race, but just an amazing run. Bryan Lip, the other inspirational runner of the year for the Marathon Club, alongside Ashul, was there and ran 3:06:16. And we had Daniel Coulson in 3:01:30, which was also a 3-minute PB. Alison Blackburn, running her 5th marathon in just over 10 months and 3rd fastest time, with 7 weeks to go until Boston. She ran 4:18. And then Andrew the Enigma Donata, nominated by Brodie Cart from our Enemy podcast, the Casual Runners Appreciation podcast, ran a massive 15-minute PB in a time of 3:43. So well done, Andrew. That's amazing. And then one from me, Erica Dobson. Erica ran 4:53. She cruised the first half with a friend, and then had a really solid second half. Great confidence boost for her, and just had a load of fun doing it, which is just a brilliant way to run a marathon, in my opinion. I think we also have a recap from Lauren French and Ashleigh coming up, so we can hear a bit more about their races.
Hey guys, it's Ash and Loz here in Tokyo, just giving you a recap of our race today.
It was lots of fun. It was great atmosphere. We vibed for about maybe half.
Yeah, I feel like around 22Ks just started feeling a bit off, and the gels just weren't sitting right, but I kept pushing them down, and my legs just kept me going.
Yeah, I think I felt a bit off around 35K, felt a bit nauseous, but look, we had a great time, I would say.
Yeah, and it's just a privilege to be out there racing amongst all those 39,000 people. The cheering and the atmosphere got us through, and we finished now, and we're
having a drink.
Yeah, enjoying a nice drink together, and celebrating an achievement nonetheless.
Yeah, we finished, so that's the main thing. Had fun.
Thanks for your support, and see you next time.
Gambaru!
When I was messaging the guys to record a voice memo, Loz went, "Do the guys want me to do a handstand on the table?" And unfortunately, that didn't make the cut. So no, they were on their best behavior. Thanks, guys, for the recap. I was looking at their splits. I think Loz was going out at 3:40 something, but then things got a little bit too hard too quickly. And then Ash was taking a big swing at sub 3 and was on pace for quite a bit. But I think she will be regretting consuming copious amounts of Pocari Sweat, because that sort of came back to bite her in the ass, sort of in that 35K mark. But absolutely killer training blocks from those two, and gutsy runs from them both. So hopefully they'll be back out there running a very quick marathon very shortly. In terms of upcoming events, I'll go very quickly.
Just one. Did Vicky? Did you mention Alan as well? There's an Alan Morrison who I know this because he won this Volunteer of the Year award, I think, at the club. And he was there. I will give you his time. 3 hours 57 minutes.
Beautiful! Nice.
Yes, it's Alan Morrison.
Beautiful.
Amazing.
Great.
Congratulations, Aaron.
Yeah. Well done, Alan. We'll quickly go through upcoming events. So we've got Hurdies on the 13th of March. That will look to be a very great event, and hopefully we can make it to the next day. Well, that's my plan. Vicky, is your plan still 26 yards for 2026?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good.
I have no idea if that's going to be possible or not at this point, but we're going with it.
Yeah,
say enough times, it will be true.
Yep, done. We've got Canning River Runningworks Festival Sunday the 15th, 10K half marathon. We've got Darlington on the same day, which features the 8K half marathon. We've got the WA Coastal Running Festival that's sold out at Whitfords on the 22nd of March. We've got Xterra Dunsborough on the 28th of March through to the 29th of March. And we've got the Bunbury Three Waters Running Festival on the 12th of April, with all distances sold out. But if you're a kid or you want to race kids, there's a 5K available. As you were typing that down. All right, Vicky, we've got Vicky's verbalizations.
Yeah, so I have looked up Jeffing, and it is Jeff Galloway. He was born in California, and
look at that.
The 70s. It's just, I wasn't born, so I don't know.
I simply wasn't born.
But now I know. It's not Jeff, who I run with on a Thursday morning at Yellow. It is Jeff Galloway. It is a run-walk technique designed to reduce injury risk, combat fatigue, and make running more accessible. And it's not just for beginners. So there we go. That's Jeffy.
Well done, Ashul. Very good, mate.
Yeah, the Oracle.
Yeah. Good job. Good job you were here, Ashul. So my actual verbalizations are that we have a community run coming up on Wednesday. We mentioned this last week. So the Running Centre are hosting ourselves and Bix this week on Wednesday the 4th of March, and On Running Shoes will be there. Be one of the first in the world to try the new Cloud Monster 3 and Cloud Monster Hyper 3, which I am really excited about because I have never run in an On shoe and I am definitely wanting to try them. 5:15 for a 5:45 start for the run. There are 6 and 10k paces available, pace groups available. All different paces welcome. It's a really, really lovely atmosphere and environment that Rafa and Sam and the team create down there. So please get yourself down and support the running centre because they do a great job in supporting us. There is also the opportunity, if you go over to their socials, that they are doing a competition. If you tag 3 mates and join us on the night, you'll go in the draw to win a special prize from On. So yeah, get yourself over to their Instagram and get yourself down there on Wednesday night for a run.
Beautiful.
Awesome. Sounds good. Hey, we got some weapons of warp here. Now, Simon, I heard through the grapevine that Loz French tried to eat soup with chopsticks. Do you want to explain exactly what happened there?
I mean, I feel like that's all that needed to be explained. I feel like
I want to understand the physics of it.
I don't understand either. It felt like Loz. I'm pretty sure Loz has been to Japan before, or has traveled through Asia. I'm pretty sure she's done Shizuoka, so she's been to Japan before.
Yep.
And surely she knows that to consume liquid, and maybe you don't need to go to Japan to find that out, but chopsticks doesn't cut it. So I would say that she was very unsuccessful in drinking soup, but we know what Loz is like. She's quite anxious pre-race, and maybe that was that in action. But it would have been great to see a video reel of that in action.
100%.
Yeah.
We'll try and blast that out of the archives. We had Kat Watt's son Evan ran 18:27 in the 5K with Kat pacing him, I think towards last week, which was amazing. We're talking about a kid that's no more than 10 or 11 or something. So I'm looking over my shoulder at Evan, and then Kat this weekend in 93% humidity ran 37:49. Which is crazy work from Kat. I'm not sure that's probably not quite a PB for Kat, but given the conditions, you'd think that you've got to be shaving off at least 30 or 40 seconds in better conditions than that. And really looking forward to seeing what Kat's got in store for the rest of the year. I think she did some illegal parking on the way there because traffic was absolutely cooked, and then had to flog it back after the race because she was worried she was going to get a parking ticket. So congratulations on a very good run there, Kat. We had Tom Shenton reported on the 2K state champs for the surf lifesaving over the weekend. An all sand 2 kilometre race, which I'm sure for anybody's body is not very good. But these people, I think the men's was won by Jared Miles. Tom Shenton came in second, and then Obi Rogers, they came in 7:36, 7:40 and 7:43 respectively. Sienna Hanakiri won the women's race. Is that any relation to Jonah? Do we know if if there's a connection?
I think Sienna does track as
I've seen her name on the track.
Yeah. Let's say they're siblings.
Why not? But those are rapid times for 2 kilometres on sand. So
stupid, very silly.
Congratulations, guys. And then finally, we're still on Margie watch this week. So Margie's run day 61 of Hardcore Harry's, which effectively is 61 kilometres. She ran 60 kilometres yesterday, and 59 the day before. So it's getting worse and worse for Margie, but I'm sure she's still loving it. She's still there. Vicky, any ideas of how many are left on that list at the moment?
There are still 3 left.
Wow. So there was 3 last week, 3 this week. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Well, there was on last look, there were 3 left. Yeah. So
crazy work, Margie. Hopefully, I think she's going to take it all the way.
Yeah.
To Herdies,
right?
Yeah, all the way to Herdies. And then run for 4 days straight. Yeah. Like without sleeping. That's it, guys. Simon, take us away.
Before Simon does that, just talking about being a weapon on the beach, the club has got a new Rockingham run, and they've got an optional thing that you can choose if you want to actually do the beach leg or you want to do the tarmac leg.
Oh, wow.
on there.
Okay.
So that could be one for the weapons out there.
Interesting. For both for the 5K, 10K distances?
From memory, I can't remember. Okay.
Yeah, wow.
So
That's hectic. I didn't realize it was going to involve sand. So that's,
no, you got the choice. So you can choose sand or not choose sand.
Oh, well, then there will be a clear division between the weapons and the non-weapons on race day.
Yeah, definitely.
The cockroaches and the greyhound.
And the cheetahs, yeah.
Very good. All right. Well, on that note, Ashul, thanks for joining us, mate. Absolute pleasure as always. Best of luck for your training over the next coming months as we lead into Sydney. So we'll be watching very closely.
Well, I'll come back after Sydney, let you know how everything
Yeah,
works.
definitely. Yeah. Chris and Vicky, thanks for joining me, guys. And you can reach out to us at WA Running Pod on Instagram. Our email address is warunningpodcast@gmail.com. And our Strava group is Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next week. See ya.
See ya. Thanks, guys.
You were the saving grace tonight, Ashul. There was a few things we needed to rely on
Yeah.
for you there. Yeah.
Good job you were here.
Yeah.
No. All good.
I'm going to
I
say...
think we forgot
90%.
Laura Rutherford.
Oh, yeah.
Another one for the
Well done, Laura.
Tokyo.
Well done. If you've made it this far, Laura, we've said your name.
Laura. Sorry, Laura. We love you, Laura.